Right now at 6, a mechanical fire at a manufacturing facility draws crews from across the region.
And today, a pretty decent day. It's actually going to be a little warmer ahead of us getting much colder behind a cold front tonight. Details in your forecast coming up.
Plus, a Marathon City Council meeting in Joplin ends with a controversial decision.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News at 6 a.m. I'm Samantha Walker.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is Thursday, January the 22nd. And excuse me, that sneeze, I tried to hold it, just wouldn't stop, wouldn't wait. So we got a lot to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. You were too busy looking at weather to get your sneezes out beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, we've got things up. We're at the point now from the weather nerd standpoint where we're getting close enough to the event that some of the shorter range computer models are up. They're the ones that update more frequently. There's one that's updating right now, so I'm kind of watching that. We're just getting to a point where we're going to start getting more information. Now, I'm going to be honest with folks. I mean, you know, it's a feeling. You know, people here, you know this. During any kind of weather event, you can feel it in your knees, your hips, your head, you're anywhere. It's just a feeling I have, and I'm probably wrong, but I feel like we're going to get a bit more snow than what the expectation has been so far. And I'm probably wrong. I want you to understand this is not a scientific basis here. It's a feeling I have about this snow event. I can't explain it. I don't know what it is. It's just a feeling I have that we're going to get more than what the expectation is. But I could be wrong, and there's no scientific basis for it. It's just a gut feeling. So let's go over what we do have with a scientific basis. First, though, a live look from outside in downtown Pittsburgh. There's, I'm sure, plenty of science taking place at some point, somewhere along the way in this shot. So again, today, great day. Today's going to be a fantastic day. If you don't want to get out this weekend, you don't want to mess with the snow, you know your car's not going to mess with the snow, now's a good time to just get prepared for the snow this weekend. Westco camera 7th and range line looking good as well. Like I say, there's no science behind this gut feeling. It's just a weird feeling that I can't shake. It says that we're going to end up with more snow than what we're thinking. Like I said, I could be wrong. Maybe I am. We'll have to wait and see. Winter storm watches going into effect tomorrow afternoon. All the Weather Service offices, there's some different expiration times, but the latest of these run through at least noon on Sunday. Then we have these. Some of them tomorrow morning through Monday morning. We have cold weather advisories in the dark blue and extreme cold watches in the light blue in Oklahoma and Arkansas. That is because we're expecting wind chills with this event anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees below zero. So we're talking dangerous and in some cases life-threatening wind chills. Snow aside, it's going to be very cold. Right now, it is seasonably cold. 25 in Joplin, 27 in Pittsburgh. Across the area, it's not too shabby. A little colder in some spots. Neoda, Shea, Chanute, Iola rather, both at 21, 20 in Parsons and Stockton. We get some warmer spots like Cassville, 31. Most of us, though, into the mid-20s. A light breeze this morning hasn't had a significant impact on wind chills, but I mean, still, 17 feels like Stockton, Chanute. It still's cold. It's just not as significant of an impact as we're expecting into this weekend. Today's future track, not much out there. We're going to have a light east breeze, a mix of mostly clear to partly cloudy skies, doing good until that cold front arrives later tonight and starts to drop our temperatures and brings our wind speeds up. Kids out the door this morning, mid-20s, mid-40s by lunch and recess, and that is a really nice number that we are not going to see for quite some time after this. About 50. So low 30s to start, mid-40s by noon, highs about 50. So some upper 40s, low 50s. East winds 5 to 10. Cold front late this evening. Temperatures drop. Winds increase. And it's going to get interesting as we head into the weekend. We're going to break down all the details and tell you what we do know so far and what we still don't know so far here in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Missouri State Fire Marshal is investigating a 2-alarm house fire that destroyed a home west of Joplin. The blaze broke out on North Malang Road in Jasper County yesterday afternoon. Multiple fire departments responded, including Carl Junction, Galena, Joplin, Reddings Mill, and Carterville. Everyone escaped safely, but the fire had already collapsed the roof by the time crews arrived. 11 fire departments battle a blaze at the 3D dog food plant near Monette, Missouri. Monette Rural Fire says the mechanical fire started in a large dryer and spread to the roof and an external hopper. The size of the facility and limited water supply prompted calls for additional help. Crews brought in roughly 26,000 gallons of water via tanker trucks and were able to stop the fire before it spread further. A dramatic reversal last night in Yates Center, Kansas. During a special meeting, council members voted to overturn Tuesday night's controversial decision to disband the city's police department. The original 3-2 vote sparked immediate backlash from residents and a strong opposition from the mayor. Council members who support the move cited budget concerns, saying the city needed to cut costs by turning policing responsibilities over to the county. But for many residents, the idea of living without a local police department raised serious safety concerns. Following a marathon debate, the Joplin City Council gives first-round approval for a controversial land deal for a proposed data center project. Tuesday's City Council meeting stretched into the wee hours of the morning, with the final to vote shortly after 1 a.m. Hundreds of concerned residents filled the council chambers, hallways, and overflow rooms, in addition to hundreds more watching the events unfold on live stream. KOAM's Kenny Foreman breaks down what transpired and what's next regarding Wildwood Ranch.
It took over 7 hours and a wide range of opinions from the public, but despite heavy opposition, the council ruled in favor of both annexing a portion of Wildwood Ranch into West Joplin and rezoning roughly 600 acres of the property for heavy industrial use during a first reading vote.
I think I represent the 52,000 people in our city better by voting for something for that. And that's just where I stand. If I offend you, I'm sorry.
Prior to the meeting, a number of protesters gathered just outside City Hall to express their displeasure with the idea of a data center.
We're worried that our Church Glades ecosystem is going to be impacted, and this is a globally unique ecosystem, so it's our responsibility to protect our natural resources here in Joplin.
Though concerns over a data center impacting people's livelihoods loom, Director of Planning and Development Troy Bolander says the city will be able to keep its citizens' best interests in mind.
The county does not have any land use regulations whatsoever, so they don't have any requirements on noise and glare and buffering. If it's in the city, we do have those requirements, so we can protect our citizens from the nuisances created by this possible use.
And even if the city does gain control of the land, Bolander expects it to still take some time before decisions can be made on what it'll be used for.
There'll have to be some studies completed, environmental studies, surveys, before we even know that industrial development can occur. So it's not a done deal that a data center will go out there on that location. There's about a year's worth of studies that have to be conducted.
In Joplin, Kenny Foreman, KOAM News.
Both the annexation and the rezoning resolutions will now head to a second and third reading. A vote is expected at the next City Council meeting. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather coming up on the KOAM Morning News. The president arrives at a major international summit and amid protests and diplomatic tensions. Plus, beloved characters return while new dramas debut in the fashion world pays respects. And we have snow chances here in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your weekly forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, President Trump arrived in Switzerland to meet with world leaders and deliver a highly anticipated speech at the World Economic Forum. As Erica Brown reports, Greenland was a key topic.
As President Trump flew on Marine One to the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, this message of protest, saying "Trump go home," was carved out in the snow. While tensions remain high with European leaders over his demand to acquire Greenland, the president said Wednesday that he's ruled out the use of military force to take over the territory.
I won't do that. Okay? Now everyone's saying, oh, good. That's probably the biggest statement I made, because people thought I would use force. I don't have to use force. I don't want to use force. I won't use force.
Denmark rejected Trump's call for immediate negotiations to buy Greenland. But later in the day, the president said he may have a future deal with NATO instead.
I'll be discussing it with this man right here.
Mr. President,
He's frankly more important.
Trump posted on social media that the U.S. and NATO had reached the framework of a deal and added, "This solution, if consummated, will be a great one for the United States of America and all NATO nations." In addition to his push for Greenland stirring concerns about weakening relations with Europe, President Trump used his speech in Davos to take some swipes at American allies.
They're destroying themselves. These beautiful, beautiful places. We want strong allies, not seriously weakened ones. We want Europe to be strong.
Shortly after Trump's remarks, the European Parliament suspended ratification of a trade deal between the U.S. and the European Union secured by the president last year. Erica Brown, CBS News, Washington.
EU Parliament members said Trump's plans to raise tariffs on European countries opposed to U.S. control of Greenland from 10 to 25% violates the terms of that pact. Well, still to come, local first responders compete in a friendly rivalry for a good cause. Plus, we have potential snow chances here in the 4 states. Chris has a look at your Thursday forecast. Actress Michelle Pfeiffer takes on a new role in rural Montana, and the fashion world mourns the death of Valentino. Gwen Baumgarten has your Eye on Entertainment report.
The world's most famous sponge is back for another epic adventure.
I'm ready.
Beginning today, the SpongeBob movie Search for SquarePants is available to rent or buy on digital. The release also includes exclusive bonus content with 4 featurettes giving a behind-the-scenes look at the cast and animation process. SpongeBob Search for SquarePants is available on DVD and Blu-ray March 31st. Tributes continue to pour in for iconic Italian fashion designer Valentino Garavani. Throughout his career, he designed for celebrities, models, and the British monarchy. Valentino will lie in state tomorrow with a funeral on Friday in Rome. He was 93 years old. Valentino's death comes as Fashion Week wrapped up in Milan. Some runways incorporated a nod to the upcoming Olympic Games, which the city is hosting. And this is a first look at the latest original show headed to Paramount Plus. Drama The Madison stars Michelle Pfeiffer and Kurt Russell. The 6-episode series will navigate a family's move from New York City to central Montana amid a season of grief. The Madison comes out mid-March. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Gwen Baumgartner, CBS News, Los Angeles.
You may want to find something new to watch, especially for this weekend if you're stuck inside. Well, here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
And being stuck inside, honestly, may be your best bet, because not just the snow this weekend, wind chills 10 to 20 degrees below zero. This is not a snow you're going to want to go out and play in anyway. We're going to break down the details, tell you what we know, break down some of the uncertainty still in place, and go over that winter forecast with you when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:20 now on this Thursday morning. Today, looking good. Highs about 50, light east breeze, and partly cloudy skies. It's after today. It's not looking so good. That's what we're going to talk about. Already some changes this morning. There have been changes every few hours, it seems. But we're getting closer. We're getting much more refined details, much more refined information. So we're going to be able to bring you a little bit more accurate information. Still not 100% confidence, but we're getting closer to that with this system. One of the issues we're facing that impacts our snow amounts is the track of this system. If it went a little, we've talked about it earlier this week even. If it was a little further south, our snow totals were less. If it goes a little further north, our snow totals are higher. Right now it's looking to track much further north, which means our snow totals could be higher. And like I told you earlier, this is not science, it is a feeling I have that the snow totals we've been talking about, I think, are too low. And I could be wrong, so don't take that as science. It's a feeling. But let's talk about what we do have science-wise to go over. Tonight, cold front comes in. Temperatures drop. Winds increase. Gusty winds tomorrow. Mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures only making the low to mid-20s, keeping wind chills about 5 to 10 above zero. 5 o'clock, we're clear of snow. Snow actually looks to start later, but that isn't going to matter. Its start time later in the night on Friday is not going to have an effect on its impact to our area. It just means it's going to be delayed on that impact by a couple of hours. So here we go overnight. Now we're stopping at 2 a.m. because we're starting to reach the peak intensity of the first wave of snow with this system. There are two. There will be a pause in the snow on Saturday. It will be deceiving you. It will make you think, oh, this is over. It's done. That wasn't a lot. That's not going to be the case. First half of Saturday, snow, some of it heavy at times. Factor in gusty northeast winds. We're talking wind chills 10 to 20 below zero. And we're talking the potential for blowing snow, leading to reduced visibilities. By Saturday, mid to late morning into the early afternoon, wave number 1 on its way out. Wave number 2, though, already starting to work into Oklahoma City and track up the interstate. As we go later into the evening Saturday, here comes the second wave. Right now, the second wave, well, we could get 4 or 5 inches of snow, depending on where you are. We could get a fair amount of snow out of wave number 1. It still appears that wave number 2, going late Saturday night into early Sunday, that's the one that the majority of our accumulating snowfall will come from, is wave number 2. And it spreads across the area late into Sunday. Now, this short-range future track runs out of data at midnight on Saturday, Sunday technically, so we're going to pick it up on the long range. Snow continues through the first part of our Sunday. So if you're heading out to church, honestly, stay with us. We'll have cancellations. There will be information. Follow your churches because I'd be willing to bet there's going to be a lot of churches not in service on Sunday morning. And the thing is this snow starts to finally wrap up late Sunday. With that said, with how cold it's going to be, snow we could get, we're probably looking at a number of schools and other organizations being closed on Monday, maybe into Tuesday. Now, this looks like a lot of snow. This one's usually been a bit on the lower end. And bear in mind, just 2-3 days ago, it had Nevada at 0. Now it's up to almost a foot. I think these numbers may be a bit high. Now, if we go with what the expectations are, we're talking 4 to 7 inches up through here, 7 to 10 down through here, and then greater than 10 further south. If I go with my gut feeling, I think we're looking at just taking these numbers and moving them a few miles south. I think it's going to be a bit higher. I don't think it's going to quite be that extreme. But again, it's just a weird feeling I have. So we'll see how it plays out. A reminder, winter storm watches from tomorrow evening going through Sunday afternoon. Cold weather advisories for the northern half of our area. Extreme cold watch in the southern half because of those wind chills. It could be dropping back 10, 20 below zero. For today, though, again, partly cloudy. If you want to get the bread, you want to get the milk, you want to get whatever it is you want to have at home, today's the day to do it. Upper 20s, we'll go low 40s by 11 o'clock. Our highs today, again, about 50. We're down to 18, 19 tonight. Mid-20s tomorrow, single digits below zero Sunday into Monday. Alert days for the snow and the cold continuing into Monday. And then next week, not a lot of warming taking place, but at least we're back into the 30s out there. Let's check your forecast. We're going to send it over to Samantha with Health Watch.
Thanks, Chris. The annual Battle of the Badges blood drive took place at the First Christian Church in Pittsburgh yesterday as the fire and police department compete to make the best chili. Participants donate blood for the American Red Cross and then vote on which chili they prefer. The winning department will receive a trophy and bragging rights. The Red Cross says there's a critical shortage of blood across the country and they need blood more than ever during this time of year. Well, more offices around the country are taking an unusual step by asking employees to take off their shoes. Ditching street shoes at the door can have surprising benefits for health. Bradley Blackburn explains why.
At the New York City office of AI startup Spur, the workplace looks like any other until you glance down at the floor.
I think this is the first interview I've ever done in my socks.
Co-founders Sneha Sivakumar and Anushka Nachalan have made their company shoe-free.
Gives a feeling of home where, this becomes your second home, especially when you're building a startup.
The hours we put in, it's just not comfortable to have shoes on the whole time.
Just like in Shoes Off Homes, you leave street shoes at the door. But here, Spur's employees and office guests can slide into custom-branded indoor footwear. No shoes is now a key part of their company culture.
We're all on the same team. We're all trying to do something together.
They're not alone. According to tracking website NoShoes.fun, companies all around the world are walking the walk. The goal is more than comfort and culture, it's cleanliness.
It's actually pretty grim.
Indiana University professor Gabriel Filippelli tested shoes and was surprised to learn what we track in on our soles. It can pose risks for health.
Heavy metals, which can impact, particularly if you have children at home, can impact their neurological development, their brains, their organs. That dust and soil might also contain E. coli contaminants, which can cause significant gastrointestinal issues.
Data shows damp mopping helps, but he says leaving contaminants by the front doors of homes or offices just makes sense.
This is a risk you can manage.
It's working in this workplace. The only problem here, they need a bigger shoe rack.
It's like part of us.
And for more companies, the shoe fits when you don't wear it. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 6:30, funding for a mandatory wastewater treatment upgrade will go to the ballot for voters in Frontenac.
And we've got a pretty nice Thursday out there. We're getting colder with a cold front tonight. Big changes, of course, into the weekend. Look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a grassroots coalition comes together for healthcare reform in Pittsburgh.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 6:30. I'm Samantha Walker.
Chris Warner. That's twice this week. The little robot guys, the little robot cameras. They're like, I don't like looking at them so much.
No. And I don't blame them, you know.
Honestly, they look at us so much. I mean, if I was these cameras, I'd be like, look, can we look at something else? I mean, let's take a look outside. Let's look at the ceiling. Anything else, but I'm sorry,
But
cameras.
these two here.
You have to deal with us regardless, and that's just the way it is.
But you have important information for us,
do.
especially right now.
Oh my gosh, I do. So, yeah, I mean, changes, they're coming through this morning. I've told you before, again, want to emphasize too, it's a gut feeling, okay? It's not science. There's no scientific basis for this. I have a gut feeling that the snow totals that have been put out so far are too low. I could be completely wrong. And please understand, like, this is just, it comes from living here all my life. It's just a feeling I have that we're going to get more snow than what is expected, but I could be completely wrong. So, don't take that to the bank.
Yeah.
But we will show you some stuff that we are expecting that does have a basis, at least in science. Winter weather, man, it's hard enough to predict as it is. It's just a weird feeling. As for right now, I have a weird feeling it's going to be nice today. And that's actually not a weird feeling. It's a fact. Let's look outside downtown Pittsburgh. And we're seasonably cold this morning. All right, temperatures, and what we mean by that is we're average. Our temperatures are pretty close to where they should be for this time of year. Westco camera, 7th and range line, looks good as well. So here's what we've got. And like I said, when it comes to the storm this weekend, I want to tell you, we're going to take a pretty deep dive into what we're looking at, what we know, what we don't know, and what you need to know, all of that in a few more minutes. We got to get your Thursday started first. And we're starting with this, just a reminder, winter storm watches. Some of these have actually been pushed back because the snow looks to start a little later on Friday. Doesn't have an impact really on how much we see, but it may start a little later. But these will continue at the latest through Sunday at noon. Then, cold weather advisories in the northern half of our area, extreme cold watch, southern part, and what you can't see on this same map is the extreme cold watch actually does stretch into parts of southeast Kansas. It's just these maps go with whatever the higher alert is, and it overrides whatever's underneath it. So that's why you can't see the extreme cold watch. But we're looking at wind chills this weekend that could be about 10 to 20 below zero. All right, traffic lining up here south of Pittsburgh, 25, both Joplin and Pittsburgh. Look, traffic's lining up here. Everybody's out. Everybody's going to be out. All right, so wife went to the store yesterday, just get a few things to make spaghetti last night. She said it was chaotic. And I guarantee you it's going to continue to be chaotic. I saw a post from the chief meteorologist at Fox 23 in Tulsa. He was at the grocery store down there, one of them. I mean, we're talking Tulsa. It's a lot of them. There were like 4 shopping carts left. So it's going to be chaotic because we do have this winter storm coming. Temperatures this morning, a little cold in some spots. Parsons is at 20. Get a little warmer down in the south and east, some upper 20s, but for the most part, pretty close to normal. Light breeze right now does give us some wind chills back into the upper teens. A little colder feeling in the 8th center, feels like 16, so not a significant impact. Still, it's cold. 16's cold. But it's not as significant as an impact as the wind is going to have tonight heading into this weekend. Future track today. Partly cloudy skies, light east breeze, at pretty decent temperatures ahead of the cold front, which will work its way in tonight. Kids out the door this morning, mid-20s. We're going to go about the mid-40s for lunch and recess, and about 50. That's what I'm saying, 50 when they head home. That they're not going to see for a while. Low 30s by 9, mid 40s by noon, upper 40s, some low 50s out there. East breeze about 5 to 10 miles an hour. Cold front tonight, temperatures dropping, winds increasing, and then that winter storm heading into the weekend. Details on all of that in just a few more minutes. Samantha?
Chris, thanks. The Oklahoma Department of Transportation and Oklahoma Turnpike Authority are preparing for the possibility of a wintry weekend weather. Both have crews ready and prepared to handle the worst of the weather if it comes. Because of the high traffic and high speeds of the turnpike, their crews are already pre-treating roads. Electric vehicle owners face unique challenges as this winter storm approaches. Cold temperatures can cut battery range by half or more. EV experts recommend keeping cars plugged in overnight and using seat warmers instead of cabin heat to preserve battery power. Well, Pittsburgh residents come together to tackle one of the community's biggest challenges: healthcare. The group Prairie Progress hosted yesterday's community conversation at Harlan's venue on North Locust, where local leaders and advocates discussed current healthcare issues within the community. Organizers say they want to drive meaningful change through grassroots community involvement.
We are hoping to educate people on some of the services and organizations that exist in Southeast Kansas, the work that's going on, and hopefully have people leave feeling like they learned something new.
The 2-hour event was the first community conversation that Prairie Progress hosted. The organization plans to host more in different communities across the state of Kansas. Well, the Joplin Area Chamber of Commerce hosted its 33rd annual Business Expo at the Downstream Casino Resort Pavilion, bringing together more than 100 local businesses under one roof. The expo gives businesses, new and old, a chance to connect with one another and the community, showcase products and services, and introduce new offerings. This year's theme, A Century on Route 66, highlights Joplin's deep ties to the historic highway as the region prepares to mark the route's 100th anniversary.
This is my first time at the Business Expo, and I feel like I was not expecting this outcome. I mean, there is people everywhere, from all realms of every business. So it's been really awesome to get to meet everyone, and I'm thrilled to be a part of Eagle Picture and to be at this event today.
Organizers say the strong turnout reflects continued growth in Joplin's business community, with booth space selling out quickly and participation increasing year after year. Well, Frontenac voters head to the polls in March to decide how to pay for a multi-million-dollar wastewater treatment plant. KOAM's Nellie Lopez spoke with the Frontenac mayor and the city administrator to find out why they say the project has to happen.
Frontenac faces a multi-million-dollar mandate. The city must build a new wastewater treatment plant.
Well, we currently operate sewer lagoons, which are very cheap to operate. A lot of small towns use them. We have new requirements that require us to treat for ammonia and phosphorus, which sewer lagoons can't do. So our mandate from the state of Kansas is we have to build a mechanical wastewater treatment plant to replace those.
In 2019, the Kansas Department of Health reached out to the city to let them know that this lagoon system is not up to date to help eliminate all the hazardous waste material.
These are chemicals that enter our wastewater treatment system through farm runoff or through detergents, things like that we use in our household. We can't treat for them, and so they eventually get discharged back into the environment, which is not good for our streams and waterways.
Due to environmental factors and COVID, the project was put on hold.
So we've been working on it since then, but it's come due, and we're up against the deadlines and everything now.
With deadlines looming, the decision of how to pay for the project faces voters March 3rd. A ballot question proposing an additional 3/4-cent sales tax.
People need to know that this is a mandated project. We don't have a choice. We have to do it regardless, and we're just asking the citizens, do you want to fund it through user rates, or would you like to do a hybrid model where we use a sales tax and user rates?
People have any questions, please come to one of those 2 public input sessions. Please come and ask the questions. We're trying to be very forthright and transparent on all of this.
In Frontenac, Kansas, Nellie Lopez, KOAM News.
If the sales tax fails, monthly sewer bills will increase to approximately $75, with residents and local businesses bearing the full financial burden. Well, that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A major food company announces a multi-million-dollar acquisition. plus expert advice for navigating today's expensive auto market, the research and strategies that can save you money. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, Smithfield Foods announced it will acquire iconic hot dog brand Nathan's Famous in an all-cash deal valued at $450 million. Smithfield has produced and sold Nathan's products in the U.S., Canada, and at Sam's Clubs in Mexico since 2014. A car is one of the biggest purchases many people make, and the cost of owning one is pretty substantial. CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger looks at what you need to know if you're trying to get a new set of wheels.
If you're in the market for a car or truck for the first time in a while, brace yourself for higher costs. The average price recently soared past $50,000. That's due to a combination of inflation and people purchasing larger and more expensive vehicles. Anyone taking the plunge should start by determining how much you can afford. According to AAA, the total cost of owning and operating a new vehicle is about $1,000 per month. So managing this expense is going to require some homework. Always do your research before walking into a dealership. Even if you have been loyal to a particular brand or seller, consider expanding your search to other options and a broader geographic area. Most of this information can be found online. If you drive cars into the ground, you're usually best served by buying. Even if you borrow money to buy, once that loan is paid off, your annual cost of the car drops significantly. But if you're frequently drawn to shiny new vehicles with improved safety options and the latest technology, consider leasing. A lease usually requires a smaller down payment and results in lower monthly payments. And don't forget, the willingness to walk away is your best negotiating tool. In New York, I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger.
That's it for Consumer Watch, and now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, again, today, our Thursday, looking pretty good. If you need to get prepared for the weekend snow, today is the day to do it, as temperatures will drop starting tonight with a cold front, winds pick up, and it is going to be uncomfortable over the next few days. We're going to break out on everything we know so far about the upcoming winter storm and celebrate birthdays and anniversaries right after this. All right, time for some Thursday birthdays, and we are going to start in Parsons with Ruthie Good, celebrating number 5. Happy birthday.
And move into Liberal, Missouri. Lakin Meadows is celebrating birthday number 10. It says, "We love you from Meemaw, Pawpaw Gary, and Grandma Leanne. Happy birthday, Lakin Meadows."
And in Sheldon, Kelsey Westerhold celebrating birthday number 37. A very happy birthday to you. Now, this was a short list, but it's right. Yesterday's birthday list was incredibly long. And so we want every birthday list to be as long as possible because we love celebrating you folks at home. And if you want to celebrate with us, something simple you need to do. What is it?
You should pay attention to this email. It's birthdays@koamnewsnow.com. That's where you can send those photos, birthdays, anniversaries for either yourself or that special person. But you should make sure you pay plenty of attention to that deadline that's also on your screen, so that way we can make sure we get it in plenty of time to be able to celebrate on your special day.
Of course, very important information there for you, and some important information for you today. I want to skip through today because today's not too bad, other than the cold front tonight, which I'm going to talk about in just a moment. I told you earlier, I had this gut feeling that our snow totals that we've been talking about are too low. It's just a gut feeling, nothing scientific to back it up. What I am thinking in terms of snow totals, I have just seen some news stations out of Springfield and Wichita just this morning, within the last little bit, that have posted updates to the potential snow totals. And those snow totals that they're posting are jiving with that weird feeling I have here, that we're going to get a bit more snow than what we've been talking about. I think we've been a little too conservative. I just woke up this morning, I was driving in, it was just a feeling I had that, living here forever, it just said something's not right. I feel like there's going to be more snow. We've got other news stations around our region beginning to join in on that feeling. So let's talk about what we've got. And I also want to emphasize, of course, this is, for me, this is just a gut feeling. This is not scientifically backed by any means. I could be completely wrong, but it's just a weird feeling. Tonight, cold front rolls in. All right, temperatures will drop Winds increase. We're talking some pretty cold wind chills tonight and into tomorrow. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, dry through most of the day, breezy, cold, wind chills about 5 to 10 above, because we're only looking to make about the low to mid 20s for highs tomorrow, which will be lower than what our average low is supposed to be for this time of year. This cold front is helping to set the stage in the upper levels for the snow and the winter storm. So let's go a little later in the day. Up until this morning, we had been seeing those snow chances possibly as early as 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon rolling into our far western counties. They're not there now. In fact, even by 5, they're not there. But even if they're delayed, that is not going to have a significant impact on our snow totals. It just simply means the snow totals will begin a little later in the day than instead of a little earlier, which is why, again, not really worried about school, at least through tomorrow. Anything we get, it's going to be late enough in the day, it's not going to have an impact on the school day. It's next week that it could have an impact. So let's go into the snow. Here we go, 8 o'clock Friday. Not much out there yet, but starting to see it. Here's the thing though, once it starts getting close to the area, it doesn't take it long before it's just like that. So here we are, 2 o'clock Saturday morning. The darker colors, some heavier snow. You see those wind arrows racing by. We also have concerns with the potential for blowing snow, which could lead to reduced visibilities if you're driving. It also could lead to some snow drifts. They could be a bit deeper than what the final snow totals are. Now here's the other part of this. This is going to come in 2 waves. This is number 1. Rolls in again late tomorrow into Saturday morning. Wave number 1 by 5 o'clock Saturday. Snow continuing, some of it heavy at times. We're going to get some accumulations. As to exactly how much in the first wave, I can't say for sure yet, but I'd say on average maybe 4 or 5 inches of snow, maybe a little higher out of the first wave. The second wave, though, there's a pause in between these waves. So by the time we get to late Saturday morning, early afternoon, when it stops snowing or it transitions maybe into some light flurries, do not let that fool you. It's not done yet. Don't think, oh, it's over. Those weathermen didn't know anything. No, it's not over yet. Second wave, already moving into Oklahoma City, starts riding up the Will Rogers Turnpike and runs headfirst into us by Saturday evening, starting in our southern counties and then eventually spreading across the area late Saturday into Sunday. Now this short-range feature track, like yesterday, it runs out of data about midnight, about 4 days down the road. So we're going to transition to the longer-range feature track, which is going to pick up where we're leaving off. So we go snow Saturday night into Sunday, wave number 2. Wave number 2 looks to be the one, at least at this point, that's going to dump most of the snow. So let's say we were going to get 8 inches of snow in total. Then we're talking, maybe 3 inches out of the first wave. The rest of it will come out of the second wave. But that's what we're talking about. The second wave will bring in more of the snow. The actual main event, I think, is going to be wave number 2, which will continue into Sunday morning before it starts to gradually come to an end across the area heading into Sunday evening. So there's that. The gut feeling I have. This, what you're about to see, I think is a bit too high. But I think it's not that far off either. What we need to do is just shift these numbers here along the 54 corridor down to the south. So I think what we're looking at is, let's say, roughly Lamar, Pittsburgh, Chinook, Fredonia, Howard. We'll take this zone here, point south, 8 to 12 inches. And then we get just south of I-44, I think we could get a little over 12 inches. So we're talking McDonald County, Berry County, Delaware, Benton, could get a little bit more. And I think up north it'll be a little less, but we're still talking 4 to 8 inches, I think, in our northern counties, 8 to 12 in this zone, and then greater than 12, maybe not by a lot, but greater than 12 down there. So I say these are a bit high. I don't think we're going to get almost 2 feet of snow in Bella Vista, but it's going to be a fair amount of snow. A reminder, winter storm watches starting late tomorrow, running through at least Sunday at noon, and we have the cold weather advisories. Northern half of the area, extreme cold watches. You can't see it back here, but it's here into southeast Kansas and down here because those wind chills could be anywhere from 10 to 20 degrees below zero heading into the weekend. So this isn't a snow the kids get to play in or you get to play in either. Today, though, upper 20s to start, low 40s by 11, partly cloudy skies. Another look at your forecast here in just a moment, and when we switch over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m., do bathrooms really need doors? Well, I kind of think so, but some hotels seem to think they're not a necessity. That story and more at 7. All right, again, Today, we're looking pretty good, about 50. If you want to do that last minute shopping, getting ready for this weekend, today's a good day to do it. Partly cloudy, east breeze 5 to 10, but please share, be kind to one another, okay? Well, you're out clearing off the shelves. We're back into the upper teens tonight. Cold front pushes in, winds increase, gusting to 30. Wind chills down about 10 above zero. Then, of course, we've got our alert days Saturday, Sunday, possible alert day Monday. We're talking not just the snow, but the extreme cold. We've got wind chills 10 to 20 below zero this weekend, possibly into Monday. And I do believe this is the other side of things. Yeah, we got the snow, starts late tomorrow, Saturday, wrapping up by Sunday. And then by Monday, we're not going to get any melting done. So be prepared for schools or other businesses and organizations to very likely be closed on Monday. Storm totals out of this, I think on average, maybe about 8 inches, but it depends on where you are. We have a broad area. Some of you will get a little more, some of you will get a little less, but it's going to definitely be an impactful system with this snow. And of course, in this area, it also doesn't take much more than 6 inches or so to cause travel disruptions. So be prepared, be safe this weekend. We'll have more information for you tomorrow. Of course, we'll keep you updated as we get closer to this event, but you need to prepare now. Don't wait till the last second, and don't mess around this weekend. Don't be out there. Just stay home if you can.
Yes, definitely. Great. Thank you, Chris. Coming up today at noon, we're making secret ingredient meatloaf in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
As your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings, there's over 1 million channels on YouTube using AI content. So what can you really trust? Ahead on CBS Mornings, what YouTube is doing to clean up deep fakes and low-quality AI content.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. This morning, Eve Brown, a student at St. Mary's Colgan, is joining us to talk about the Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America program.
And we're going to learn more about an upcoming investment workshop at Joplin to help you learn how to evaluate your real estate team. That's going to do it for now, though. Latest on this storm tomorrow. We'll see you back here at 5 a.m.
And we'll see you today at noon.